This is the What's Next podcast, Houston's #1 platform where I invite creatives to share their journeys and give us a depiction of their visions. Most importantly, the last question I'll ask is, what's next? Oh yeah. Houston, Texas, as you can tell, your boy went to the barber shop and got a haircut. Shout out to my barber. Clipper Jones on Instagrams, out of that Acres Homes. Let's go.
Feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigga, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby.
Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. Opening song by the Nice Guys, Over Toast. Welcome back to the 93rd edition of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. This is a creative story. Episode 93. It feels good to be back. And I'm saying that as if I was gone for a year's time. But, you know, when I didn't drop episode 93 last week, my mood, my temperament was different. Because when you're used to dropping every Tuesday, even if hell freezes over, every Tuesday I come to your airways and to your site via the What's Next podcast every Tuesday. And last week when I did not drop an episode, I kind of was like, man, is this really happening to me? Am I really gonna miss a Tuesday? And for a number of reasons, which I won't get into, I just wasn't prepared. Everything was last minute. I wasn't organized. I didn't have my guest ready and available and prepared. So even at 5:30 p.m. Tuesday last week, I was eyeing my watch. Like, I can still do it. And that is the definition of passion, right? That is a definition of passion. But yeah, welcome back to the 93rd edition of the What's Next podcast, a production of Still Visionary Inc. This is a creative story. My name is John Ross Dyke the First, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at John Ross Dyke and still_visionary. If you would, connect with me on LinkedIn, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my fan page on Facebook, and visit my website at stillvisionary.com. So directly in front of you, I have all the t-shirts that I sell via this podcast, via out the trunk of my car, and via on my website. And you can shop stillvisionary.com/merch. Okay. And listen, I hadn't done this before, but I'm eliminating all the excuses. You can hit me on the Cash App, and you guessed it, it's $ John Ross Dyke. Okay, you can hit me on the Cash App. In the notes say, hey, here's such and such for a t-shirt. I like a t-shirt. It's winter season, as you can tell. It's a lovely 50, maybe 45 degrees outside. It's a cold chill. I took the trash out a second ago, and I exhaled, and I could see, my breath just in the air like that. And I was like, okay, winter season is here. I got the fleeces. I took a picture this morning. My lovely wife took a picture of me this morning, and she was phenomenal. I posted that on Instagram. It's the silver, the gray SVI fleece, available on my website, stillvisionary.com. Cash at me, $ John Ross Dyke. Listen, I want to take a strong second, okay? I want to take a second to acknowledge really four, okay, but the fourth is biased, but three graduates of the 2021 class coming up in May of 2021. Three individuals who led our senior class on the volleyball team at Waltrip High School, who led them to 3 district championships, the playoffs the first round of the playoffs every year to Sofia de los Santos, um, Courtney Everts, and Lillian Espinosa. Um, I wanna say that I'm extremely proud of you all because um, you revitalized the program along with Coach Waller. You revitalized the program, and I remember posting on Instagram July the 1st, 2019, after Baby D had passed. I posted on Instagram and I wrote the soliloquy dedicated to my boy. And I remember walking back into Wall Trip in 2019 when that year had started. And I remember the way uh, you ladies consoled me about that. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And like I said at the banquet, um, the time is now for you all. Don't wait 4 years in college to figure out what you want to do. The time is now. So while you're in college, go and get it right now. This is what people should take from the episode. The time is now. The time is now. For everybody listening and watching this podcast, the time is now. So, I can't remember who said that. Might have been in a conversation that I was in a while back, or I may have heard it somewhere, but the time is now. Um, so this is episode 93, the countdown to episode 100 of this podcast, right? And piggybacking on what I was saying a while ago, um, every Tuesday, I come to you. I give you my heart, my soul, in the form of this podcast every Tuesday. And thinking back to the previous, let's say, 2 years I've been doing this podcast now, I've missed 10 weeks. 10 weeks, right? And so I am dedicated to this podcast to get it to you, for you to learn something, for you to take away something, for you to hear the incredible, incredible people that I bring on this podcast, right? If I could define myself with one word, and I've said this a few times on this podcast recently, it would be undiscovered. Undiscovered. And Webster defines undiscovered as not found or found out, not discovered. And so I've been thinking about that for a long time. What word defines me? Because I ask people that on the podcast. What word defines me? What could I say that word is? Right? And I think I said it the first time when my wife, she was sitting right here on my right-hand side. I said it to her in episode number, I think it might have been 90, 91. No, 90. A creative story. I said it to her then. Right. And so, yeah, undiscovered, man. Let me add a little bit to that. So, shout out to my man, Michael Agbajan, who hosts the Same Michael podcast, One Man's Attempt to Family, Business, and Comedy. He drops every Thursday. My mistake, every Thursday. And I was talking to Mike. We were just bouncing ideas off of each other. And this goes to being undiscovered. We were bouncing ideas off each other. And Mike comes to me and he says, "Yo, have you heard of this app called Clubhouse?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" And he was basically giving me the rundown. He said Clubhouse was about conversations. There are no text. There are no pictures. It's just conversation. You get in a group with some people and everybody's talking about a particular subject and you chime in, and it's a great place to network. It's a great place to do this. It's a great place to do that. So I was like, okay, cool. He invites me. I have to wait a time period to be approved for the app. But I get into the app and I start listening to conversations that people are having about podcasts, right? And I'm like, wow. The more I thought, what I thought I knew, I didn't know, right? And I'm just listening to people, trying to pick people's brains. And so I said to myself, in lieu of not dropping an episode last week, right? I said to myself, well, you know, I've never been one to say, you know what, leave comments, give me feedback. I've never been one to do that. Never. And so I said to myself, this go around my top 5 listeners, whoever you are, the people that every Tuesday have given me 15 to 25 minutes of your time and stream my podcast, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, my website, stillvisionary.com, the What's Next podcast tab. Whoever those 5 people were, or are rather, I want to talk to you on the podcast and get your insight as to what I could do better for the podcast. And again, this is not what I do. I'm a creative. So whatever I create, it comes from here. And I just put it out. I hope people receive it, right? So I don't spend time wondering what people would do. I just put it out. You know, I take my time, and the people that I trust. Like, yo, what you think about this? I take it to, you know, again, it could be a little biased. The decisions could be a little biased. But I don't spend time asking people what they think, right? Because when you do that, you open yourself up for people to give points that are not even valid, right? And that's just my thinking. People can think the way they think, but that's just my thinking, right? So, yeah, I get on Clubhouse and I'm listening, and I decide that this past weekend I'm going to get on the podcast and shoot the shit with 5 of my top listeners, people that, you know, I'm not talking about people. Well, I'm not looking for people to have listened to the whole episode, right? Those are super fans, right? 5 people, you know, 15, 20 minutes. Hey man, what's your favorite episode and why? And how can I make the podcast better to not only attract you more or keep you here, but get you to push the podcast to 3, 4, 5 of your friends, right? And to my surprise, nobody bid. It's okay. Undiscovered, right? Undiscovered is that. It's exactly that, not found, right? So although people are tuning in, I'm trying to, like the people in Clubhouse said, I'm trying to engage. I'm trying to engage. So that's something I'm going to look to do more of in 2021. You know, drop the episode on Tuesday. And, you know, my man Mike, he had said something about this. So, again, we bounce. So, a lot of this is I'm thinking about what he said, and I'm going back and referring referencing the conversation rather from Clubhouse. And I'm just trying to see how I can get to the point where inside the What's Next podcast, I'm generating dollars, right? I'm generating dollars, which I will get to in the What's Songs on My Mind segment of the podcast. So, episode 93, right? Countdown to 100. We have 7 left, right? And so how the math works is I'm looking at my calendar right now, right? It's November the 30th, and I wanted to make sure that I recorded right before the ball dropped for December the 1st, right? So December the 1st, we got how many Tuesdays? I think we got one, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tuesdays, which would put me at 98 episodes, right? But episode 100 for me, I've seen for the past 2 months, right? Episode 100, I'm bringing a new brand out. And in order to get to 100, December, I've got to put out 2 extra episodes on a Saturday, right? Two extra episodes on a Saturday to get to 100. Now, if one of my guests falls short, I'm not going to press it, because the episodes in December are strictly about people who are pushing clothes, designing clothes, selling clothes, making clothes. I want to talk to them, because what I'm bringing to you December the 31st, rather, is I'm sorry. One extra Saturday, because episode 100 will drop on that Thursday, New Year's Eve, right? So one extra Saturday this month, I will have an additional episode for you all, okay, to consume, to share, to pass along, right? Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be dropping a few episodes this month, right? In pursuit of episode 100. Um, so yeah, I'm on the Clubhouse app. I'm just listening, and I'm like, man, how can I get from under this claw of being undiscovered? What I feel undiscovered, because with 93 episodes in, man, when I talk to people, Kenny Clarity said it in episode 87. That's big time work. It's not easy at 45 to an hour an episode. It's not easy to be dropping this consistently weekly, right? Um, so how can I get from under that thumb that I feel of being undiscovered when, you'll talk to people who know that you are podcasting, right? And I always thought that this was crazy, right? You talk to people who know that you are podcasting, and it never comes out in conversation. Think about that. You hop on the horn with me, right? We shoot the shit. What's good with you, man? I'm chilling. I'm grinding. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. I see you. Keep grinding, right? How's the podcast going? What do you mean how it's going? I just dropped yesterday, or I'm dropping them all, right? So, um, it just never comes up in conversation, and not the face value stuff. Hey man, I really like the way I really like that guest, man. I didn't really know that about this, or I didn't know that about that. So undiscovered for me is just a word that defines me, because man, it's tough. It is tough trying to break, because that's been my question as an independent artist from Houston, Texas. How do I break? How? How do I break? What do I mean by break? How do I get to the next level in my artistry, in my journey? How do I get to the next level? How do I find out, outside of my peoples in Michigan and New York and PA? How do I break so that 5, 10 people know me in New York, 5, 10 people know me in Maryland, 5, 10 people know me in Nevada? How do I break? That has been the question. Shouts to my man Mike Agbajan. Clubhouse. That's how I break. That is how I get my podcast to a variety of people. So I was talking to my homegirl Asia today through text. Shout out to my homegirl Asia. And Asia's like, you should, utilize Clubhouse, because I was trying to get her on there. Right? Because I feel that, actors, artists, that platform is made for us to come on and discuss, right? And so I'm still trying to feel my way through it. I listen to people's conversations, and you're not always invited to speak, but when you get a chance to, I speak. The chat that I really loved was the Virgos Ain't for the Weak Part 2. I'm a Virgo, and I did not know that people. I guess I kind of could surmise that, but people were so into it. Like, I didn't know what my moon is. I didn't know what this is, but Clubhouse. That is the new, to me. That will be the new social media in 2021. It will be the new social media in 2021. I want to take a second to shout out my homie, Takara Taylor, a.k.a. T. Melly. When I think about a supporter outside of course, my lovely wife and my family, when I think about a supporter, somebody who has always got you in a part of their mind in terms of like, yo, I know this person will be perfect for this. Nobody better comes to mind. And I look forward to sitting with her and talking to her on the podcast, because, she has never left me stranded. And T Melly, if you're hearing this, I want you to know that I appreciate you. The conversation we had on Sunday just further fueled me to keep going. And we need that, right? We need that. We need to be able to keep pushing through, or to somebody come through and be like, listen, man, you are grinding. And I appreciate that grind because it motivates me, right? So in our conversation, I was just like, man, I just am so appreciative of the fact that somebody is thinking about me and referring me to the next person, right? And to my homie T Melly, man, I appreciate you, and I cannot wait to kick back with you, talk on this podcast, and show some of the people, some of the scenes from Grussel Diaries, and find out what you got up next, right? What song is on my mind? Again, guys, you know, when I have these episodes where I'm by myself in my humble abode, right? I don't want to take too much of your time. I give you 30 minutes or so, and right now I'm at about 21 minutes, right? So, what song's on my mind? Of course, right here.
Word.
Listen,
You know, it's like that.
I don't intend to play this song entirely,
So real become physical.
right? I don't intend to
You running.
play this song too long. This song right here
It's a real thing.
got me thinking. The dollars, where did they come from?
Drive you crazy. So you get emotional.
Where did they come from?
265.
Because I'm about $1. Let's go.
3 days, same clothes, 2 eyes I can't close. Different town.
So, of course, the first song that's on my mind is Easy Eve Saint, about $1, off of his Don't Panic LP. I'm gonna let it rock for a few minutes, just a few. First hook.
And I think back, I was the best in school, but invested my tools in ecstasy.
Yeah.
Lawyer fees and extra shoes. Damn. The Lexus too. Damn, the big boy Benz the coupe. Santa Monica was Hanukkah. Mine's in the band with the extra roof. Credit impeccable, work ethic exceptional. Beat the brakes off of my classmate for the tooth fairy and astro tube. And who? I don't got nothing to lose.
Ooh.
I get everything in tools.
Ooh.
I don't remember this girl, but she for me like she has something to prove.
I'm married. I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know why I'm so fucking confused.
Ooh.
I don't see nothing but food and
Ooh.
I don't do nothing but you. I'm about $1, your honor. There's niggas that die for that dollar.
To the hook, y'all. Just to the hook.
And I'm hopping out of this collar and graduate college with honors. But I got some partner with doctorates. I got some partners in politics. And I'm BAD. I'm about $1. I'm about $1.
I'm about $1.
I'm about
$1.
I'm shouting, I'm about $1. I'm about $1. I'm shouting, I'm about $1. Y'all know that I'm about $1. I'm about $1. Your honor, yeah, I'm about $1.
Second song, the greatest rapper alive to me. This is my platform. It's not debatable. Nas Jones, you know my style. My man Echo Remix, man. Every Friday, my man Echo Remix from Shreveport, Louisiana, drops New Music Fridays with Echo Remix, right? He's got a record. I missed the last 2 weeks, but this last week was Forever, and the week before was Prayer, right? So Forever is on my mind. Forever's on my mind. You know my style by Nas, about $1 by Easy Eve Saint, and I want to go contemporary gospel. I was listening to this record all Sunday after church, and the name of the record is Run to the Father, by Cody Carnes. Right, those 4 records are on my mind. Listen, episode 93, guys. Episode 93, Undiscovered. This is a creative story where I bring you who I am in a nutshell. And really, episode 100, I am looking forward to that episode. But not only that episode, I'm looking forward to the episodes that will precede that one, because by the time I get to my 100th episode, I'll understand what I need to do in order to sell some clothes, right? That is my goal. My goal is to shift my life to quarters, right? Shift my life to quarters, to get out of the educational system. I love it. I love it, but it handicaps the creative to me. It's not enough. I'm not in the right ballpark to be who I am. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Um, for the mentorship that it represents. But as a creative man, my mind is constantly like, maybe I could do this, or maybe if I spend more time, I could be able to do this, right? So, in the next 6 episodes, I should have a pretty good idea on how to market, or what people are looking to see when you try to sell merch. I should have a pretty good idea of that. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't feel that that's the direction of this podcast. But shout out to my man KB. My man KB. Kendall Babin, that is. I coach basketball with him at Wall Trip. My man KB said this the other day. I'm learning a lot about our generation and social media after this Nate Robinson stuff. I just think we are so ready to laugh at people's downfalls. Call me what you want, but I think for myself, same people laughing are the same people that would have been on his nuts if he'd won. I respect Nate for at least saying he wants to do something and actually going after it. I hope everyone else is going after their dreams and not being so quick to degrade someone else who falls at theirs. The Nate Robinson fight. Man, he just wasn't ready. I'll leave it at that. He just wasn't ready. But I agree with my man KB, man. Spend more time supporting us, creatives that is, than laughing at us. Spend more time doing that. Because the time is now. The time is now. I didn't want to talk about that. I just wanted to read what KB said because I thought it was profound. And, again, man, this is episode number 93. Undiscovered. Right? Today is November the 30th, 2019. We have 31 days left in the 2020 year. I'm sorry. November the 30th, 2020. We have 31 days left in the 2020 year. And in 31 days, I hope to have shot the 1-minute commercial that I'm trying to do for this brand that I'm dropping January 1st, 2021. And I hope to have passed my real estate exam, right? Those are my goals for the 31 days left in 2020. Most importantly, the last question. I'm sure that I forgot something, right? But again, I couldn't go another week without dropping, and irregardless of making it to 100 or not, my mood. I'm just not John Ross Dyke the first. If I'm not dropping on Tuesdays, I'm just not that guy, right? And so I have to drop, right? And so I wanted to come on here today and talk about, Clubhouse. I really didn't even really get into it much, but I'm still trying to discover it myself. I look to try to do some things with the What's Next podcast on Clubhouse in the near future. But shout out to my man Mike, because he's the one that put me on that, even nominated me to be in the app, man. And I greatly appreciate that. Listen, all these T-shirts in front of me, man. I sell out the trunk of my car. I sell on this podcast, and I sell on the website, right? I sell this sweatshirt on the website. My Cash App is John Ross Dyke on Cash App. Shoot me that. You shoot me extra, I'll refund it. But I want to sell some clothes. This is all I wear. I don't wear nothing else. So when you support my clothes, just know that you're wearing what I wear. T-shirts get a little expensive, the higher brand ones, right? So, depending on who you are, or how much how many times you want to wear the tee, I put it on a more expensive T-shirt. But I don't really have much, man. I love the podcast. I love to be here. And I wanted to come to your ears, your eyes, the last Tuesday before December drops, right? The last day in November before December the 1st. We got 31 days, so it's time to get to it. Most importantly, the last question I'll ask is, what's next? For me, what's next for me is this real estate exam, right? And, of course, my brand every Tuesday. That's what's next for me. Listen, Houston, Texas, tomorrow, myself and Coach Babin, we coach our first varsity game. Shout out to my man, Cliff Morse III, who's giving us that alley. We're in Galena Park tomorrow, man. I hope we're going to win. I need your prayers. Houston, Texas, I do what I do for myself to prove that I can do it for others. Peace and blessings.
Feel like 95, Sachi on my body, Biggie, Jigga, Puffy, all that ballin' is a hobby, and I'm wildin' in my wallies, and them valleys, no Pilates, more weight get you more wet, now that's these Bumani, my crystal ball, I see crystal, crystal with that, I saw the sign like Ace of Base, like cheers to the money guys, the Willie niggas, who buy them bottles, and then they spill these liquors, yo, salute my dude. I see you, dog. 5 bottles, 1 dick. Why I need 2 bras? I know I'm out of line, but love is shower time. You know it was a dream. When the clouds nine, get off that high ass hussy. This a private party. Been on my dick too long. Your breath on private party. You gon' be nice and naughty. These walls on priceless Audi. This the upper crust. Fuck is up. Life is short. Over and done. Over. Yes,